All right. Y'all would not believe who I have sitting next to me. If you look up, started from the bottom, now we here in the dictionary, her face gonna pop up. This woman exudes toughness, fearlessness. She exudes confidence. And I guess that has a lot to do with the fact that she grew up in Ypsilanti, Michigan. She received her BA in journalism from Michigan State University, then obtained her MA in public relations and corporate communications from Georgetown University in Washington, D.C. She is a highly enthusiastic and self-motivated practitioner, an entrepreneur. She is an avid volunteer. She is a proud member of the AKA sorority. She's a vibe lifter. She's a connector. She's a speaker. She's an award-winning public relations and marketing professional with over a decade of experience that spans across the nonprofit, the Fortune 500, and the music and entertainment industries. Some of her clients and colleagues describe her as being knowledgeable, detailed-oriented, dependable, tenacious. They describe her as being someone who is excellent at delivering in high-pressure situations under tight deadlines. And I guess that has a lot to do with the fact that she went from being senior director to vice president of public relations and business development with 98 Ford within a year and a half from the time she started working there. 98 Ford, and she just told me this off camera, this is the largest woman-led, Black-owned communications agency in the state of Michigan today. And they just celebrated their 25th anniversary, I think in December of last year, right?
Yes, well, we had the culmination of doing all of our 25 acts of kindness for that year. But the actual anniversary was in April.
I'm excited. I'm
You're
excited.
so funny.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. I can't.
So without further ado, I'd like to introduce you all to the one and only Antonice Strickland. What's up, Antonice?
Hey, how are you?
Hey, man, I'm good. I'm good.
Thank you for having me.
No, thank you. You've been like busy pretty much all week. You've been on like this press run or something like that.
Yes.
With the Boys and Girls Club.
With the Boys and Girls Club of Southeastern Michigan. They're industry club youth. We leave for New York for New York Fashion Week, actually. So
What?
I got to fly out on Sunday.
Now, you worked for the Boys and Girls Club at one point too, right?
I did. I was a in-house practitioner, so I led public relations, marketing, and events for them for almost 3 years. So through a lot of the start of the industry club, which is what we're seeing now with the young people going to New York. But yeah, I started with them. Actually, they were a client of mine when I worked at a different PR agency.
Wow.
Sean hired me in-house, and the rest is kind of history from that point.
Man, this she the real deal. I'm so excited about
Now he's a client. Now they're a client again. So
full
yes.
circle. Full
Very
circle
much
moment.
so.
Okay, so I want to talk about your upbringing. Where you grew up in Ypsilanti, Michigan, right?
Yeah, so I was born in Detroit. I kind of bopped around a lot of places. My family's from Detroit and downriver, like Ecorse, River Rouge, all of that. And then we moved to the Willow Run side of Ypsilanti.
Oh,
which
yeah,
is
I'm familiar with that. Yeah, yeah.
A little different over there. But for the right, that's a big part of, like to what you said, is who I am. I was growing up on that part of Ypsilanti. So yeah, that's where I'm from. And graduated from Willow Run High School. I'm a proud Flyer, and
What?
yes,
Okay.
yes. So I did have a stint at Ypsi High, but that was that.
That's what's up. That's what's up. So describe the household. Who was there? Was it your mom, your dad, your siblings? Like name all of them.
Yeah. So it's definitely, I have a bigger brother. Oops, dropped my headphones.
That's all right, y'all, because I'm going to
Sorry.
cut that. Y'all ain't going to see that part.
We
all
ain't
right?
gonna see that. My hair look okay. We good. Okay. But yeah, so I have a younger brother who's like a foot taller than me. So we were very, very close. And then my mother and my father. So we all was living off of Getty's Road and on the Willow Run side of Ypsilanti.
Wow.
Yeah, and that was the four of us. That was the household there. And up until, like middle school, I did lose my mother. So we became the trio.
At what age?
I was about 14.
Wow.
Yeah, so yeah, you're getting kind of some interesting intel, so that I don't talk about a lot. But
Yeah.
but I mean, honestly, doing this, I think it's important for me to do a better job of telling my story, and because a lot of people don't know a lot of my upbringing. They just see, I went to state, I'm at Georgetown, I'm living this life. But to your point, it did take a lot to get here. A lot of navigating, a lot of rediscovering myself, and just pressing through. But like my family, we're super, super close. Like my dad and my brother, like my best friends, literally. So
Wow.
yeah, very tight knit. And the four of us were all very, very tight too. So it was just, we just got kind of a lot tighter when that happened.
Wow.
So,
So at age, you said, at age, how old were you?
maybe
When she
I was
passed
13.
away? 13?
I was in 8th grade.
8th grade. Okay.
Yeah, I was in 8th grade.
Got you. Yeah. So Mike Tyson, I saw this interview with him and they asked him about his mother's death. I think his mother died when he was 16. And he said that it was the best thing that ever happened to him. And people were like, what the hell, what do you mean by that? And he said, it taught me to stand on my own 2 feet early. And he faced a lot of bullies that he otherwise wouldn't have. Right. Yeah. So again, Mike Tyson ended up being the youngest world heavyweight champion at age 20. And he said his mother's death was a huge motivation for him leading up to that point. And Dame Dash, I think he lost his mother at 15. He said he was kind of soft when his mother was around, right? And it hardened him in a way and made him fearless, because once you experience something like that at a young age, like what else is going to happen? Like life, anything else that happens. Really, exactly. You know what I'm saying? So, and we all know Dame Dash's career, but it's almost like when you meet people who lose a parent when they're old enough to have experienced them, but young enough to where they were still fully dependent on them. Yeah. If them people are able to survive a tragedy like that, they end up being some of the strongest individuals you'll ever meet. So what impact, I guess, has that or did that have on you? Like, what did you learn from her? What sticks in your mind, that she taught you before she transitioned?
So a couple things. I will say my mother is a huge reason why it's important to be kind to people. It's important to love on people. It's important to have grace for people. And if that's one thing that I've always saw my mom do, like even everyone remembers her, is that like she was one of the nicest, sweetest people that anybody ever like met. Literally. And she was a person that would like drive around the corner and pick up all the kids and pull up at Sunday school or at church, or if we had a school project, or she was coming to class teaching us about Kwanzaa, like stuff she wasn't getting paid to do, but just coming into the space and just being present there. So I know that, always thinking of others is something. Obviously there has to be some balance there, but being able to be that way authentically and genuinely is definitely something that I think also helps me be a great practitioner. Like I'm able to, I don't got no negative, issues in the streets at all. Like I'm good, but I genuinely feel like I know that I'm a good person and I don't do anything to harm people. And I think that was one of the big things that I gained from my mother. The other thing is family. And my dad and my mother were very huge advocates of family. Like they had their own different upbringings and all. And, they really wanted to make sure that we had a real family, that we could, depend on each other and, learn from each other and everything. So I give kudos to both of my parents, but my mother was literally like, she was the one having all the dinners every Sunday, or we had this big family reunion. And like, that was what my mom really like put together to make sure she can bring all the families together. And I see a lot of that most recently in myself. It's so weird. I had a whole like moment over the holidays, because I'm now I like cook all the dinners for Christmas, Thanksgiving, all the things.
You can cook?
Yeah. I know I'll be busy, but I could.
Hey, fellas, I don't know if she's single or not. I don't know. But I'm just letting you know, jump in them DMs, because she can cook. All right.
But just bringing family together is so important to me. And that's definitely something that my mom put out there. And I feel her every time that I do that. Every time I'm like, oh, we all getting together, where, I'm cooking, just pull up. Like I'm making something, like let's all get together.
For the last holiday, what did you cook? Just run across some of the sides for me.
You so funny. The last holiday, what is it, February? So Christmas. We do a Christmas brunch. We actually call it Strickmas because my last name is Strickland. So we do.
Yeah, I like that. Nice little play on words. I like that.
Yeah. So all of us get together. So this year, we do a Christmas brunch. So I did my shrimp and grits. That's always,
Bridget, we there next year.
Yeah, I got y'all. I do the real thing too. I make my own like roux and everything. Like it's not just a little throw some shrimp on top of your grits and stuff. No,
it's the real thing.
You got it. Yeah. And my nephew requested chicken and waffles. So I'm so hyped because now he eats like everything, and we were like, y'all, you can't just eat chicken nuggets and like fries and survive. Asking for this, I was like, yep, I got you.
Our kids are like that too, really picky eaters.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Now he's good, and I think it's because he's just getting older and he's playing basketball now, and it's like, oh, you need to eat for real food if you want to grow.
Exactly.
But yeah, I did that, and then the shrimp and grits, chicken and waffles, and I did like this maple spicy glaze thing. I was hype. I was ready. I was like putting the whole recipe together. I was ready.
Shoot.
So it was, and then all the other basic stuff, and you got to have some bottomless mimosas.
Of course. So you mentioned fun. So it was the trio, you, your brother, younger brother, right? Who's a foot taller than you, and also your dad, and it was just you guys. What are some of the things that you learned from your dad growing up?
Ooh, resilience. Dedication, and also, honestly, my dad has navigated so much, and I'm really proud of him. Seeing how he's evolved from the dad I knew as a kid, and just kind of growing, and we all evolve. So it's a beautiful thing.
But he raised two kids who are doing pretty good, so he can kind of relax a little bit now.
But he don't know how to relax, and I hope he hears me say that. He needs to relax and just chill.
Yeah.
But that's just him. He's always been moving and grooving and all of the things, but he's definitely taught me to just kind of keep going too. Like, I know he was so upset when I was like, yeah, I'm moving to DC. He's like, really? But like, I appreciate he didn't stop me. He was like, no, he's always encouraged me as being a strong person, not even just a strong woman, but just a strong person, and like me wanting to be able to do different things and explore and experiment. And, even if he didn't really like it, he was like, dang, I really got to take you to DC.
Wow. It's kind of interesting because I noticed this. I picked my son up, my kids up from school for, I guess maybe 3-4 days out the week. And every time I picked him up, my son, he'll be like, where's mommy? And I'm like, I pick you up every day and you ask me this question. Sometimes we be around other parents too, and they like, why he don't want you to pick him up? Right. But I noticed this. It's like, and you can correct me if I'm wrong and tell me if this is reflective of, if it's the same with your experience growing up in a 2-parent household. But like, mothers, they'll love you based on who you are, right? And dads love you based on what you can be. Like, we see what you can be, and we're kind of pushing you towards that.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting. So I stopped feeling bad and having my feelings be hurt and stuff like that because I said that means I'm kind of doing my job. Right?
Yeah.
I'm pushing them. So
I agree with that. I think I've never heard that sentiment when it comes to both parents, but I could see that. I feel like my mom was just always very encouraging, and my dad was too, but she was more of like, yes, you can do anything, you can do it all. And we really did. Like, I was a gymnast, I did volleyball, I did basketball, I did all the things.
And dad's like, you can do better.
You can do better. If you gonna do it, like, be great at it, because I know you can. If you gonna play basketball, then you gotta score 30 points. Like, it was just, I could see that dynamic, and I do feel like my dad has always seen what me and my brother can be and do, even if he didn't know what it was. But I love that, knowing that like my parents were intentional when it came to me and my brother, like ups and downs, and whether we liked it or not growing up, because you a kid, you be like, why are you acting like this? Why? But I see what they were doing, and they prayed over us. They were very intentional about like what they prayed for us to do and be. And my dad, he stayed consistent.
Church going family, right?
Yes, we were a church going family.
That's what I'm talking about right there.
For sure.
So you ended up going to Michigan State University. That's the only thing I don't like. Everything else I love about her.
Go green.
She went to Michigan. Go blue. Go blue. And then she brought her friend Mickey over here, her best friend, and she's a Michigan State person alumni. Whatever. It's all good, because it's 2 Michigan people here, me and Bridget, and there's 2 Michigan State people here. But the thing is that you were the let me see, MSU ABJ charter member and chapter president, right, for the National Association of Black Journalists.
Wow.
I saw some of the interviews you did at a young age.
Oh my gosh,
probably 20.
You thought I was still up?
Listen, you talking about Torrey. I'm going through the list right now. You talking about Torrey, Jamil Hill. Yes. She went to MSU too, right?
She did.
So Jamil Hill, I think Bob Meadows.
Yes.
Right? He was an editor for Essence Magazine at the time. J.A. Adande, he worked for ESPN at the time.
Fun.
Crazy. Like, first off, how were you able to be the president of this organization? How was that experience? And how did you get these interviews with these prominent figures in journalism and media? How did you get that?
Ooh. Moving. I don't know. It's wild. When I think about it, that's hilarious. I haven't seen some of those interviews
you got to go back and watch them
in a long time.
Yeah.
But so first thing I learned about NABJ, my road to becoming a journalist was very odd. I changed my major like 5 times in college. Like I was thinking I was going to be pre-med, and then it was like, oh, I'll be a nurse like my mom.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it was just like, nope, okay, science, no. I loved biology. I loved it, but all the other things, not really. And then I'm like, okay, well, maybe I can go to the law route. Okay. And I took like a couple criminal justice classes, and I was like, this is cute. And then I switched to psychology, which honestly, psychology, I use that all the time at my job, and we can maybe talk about that another time. But
Absolutely,
use psychology.
absolutely.
But then I discovered, like, okay, well, what do the people do that's on TV, and what does I used to love watching 106 in Park. I'm like, what does AJ and Free do? Like, what did they go to school for? And I think at the time it was like Roxy and what is his name, Terrence J.
Terrence J. Yeah, and Roxy something.
Yeah, Roxy. And but I saw they all studied journalism, and I was like, oh. Okay, well, what's that? Let's go do that. And so I registered in the Com Arts school. What is it? The School of Communication Arts and Sciences. And I enrolled in the program. I had to test into the School of Journalism. So I took a couple classes, and I got to test into it. And there we go. So
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
So once I got in there, I'm like, okay, okay, what am I going to do? And I'm always a person that's looking for ways to improve a space. Not that there's always something wrong, but it was definitely very clear there wasn't a lot of us. It wasn't a lot of resources and opportunities to tell our stories. So on top of chartering the student chapter of NABJ, starting our own publication on the campus of Michigan State too, called Voice Magazine.
Voice Magazine. I remember. Yep.
And
that was from 2010 to 2012, I think.
Where I was there, it actually, the last time I went, they still had it running. I got so emotional.
So you started it and they still kept it going? That's crazy. Wow.
It's so bizarre.
Wow.
It made me emotional when I met the kids.
Especially the Black students at MSU, they didn't have anything like that at the time. And you guys used it as a way to entertain and enlighten the students on campus. Crazy.
And we were talking to everybody. It wasn't just the Black kids. I was over with the Asian society. Yeah. I was a part of, and you get so connected and you learn so much. Like there's so much you can gain by just understanding and getting to know other people.
As opposed to staying in that bubble.
Literally. I'm Black and proud. I'm always being this, but just kind of understanding and getting to know some of the other folks. So
that's the one regret I got at Michigan, is that I stayed in my bubble and I didn't experience as much as I should have with other races on the campus, and I should have. But that was my comfort zone at the time. Anyway, keep going.
That's fair. And I'm a good person for getting out of the comfort zone. So I was like, hey y'all, we're doing this. But no, started out with a group of amazing other journalists, and then
you made your mark there. Golly, go ahead.
Oh goodness. And then NABJ became a thing because obviously we learned about the association, and all that we knew about was the Society of Professional Journalists. And I'm like, okay, it got to be a Black version. Like we got to. So found NABJ. I was able to connect with the Detroit chapter of NABJ. Shout out to Vicki Thomas. She was the president at the time, and she was an amazing catalyst for starting the student chapter at Michigan State. I was emailing them. I was driving down to Detroit, like, hey, I was coming to their chapter meetings. Just to kind of know what it is that I needed to do. And her and her team, they really helped guide us to do all the paperwork. We was filling out paperwork because you got to submit it to really become a charter chapter. I think we still might be the only student chapter in the state of Michigan, actually. I don't know for a fact, but at the time we were, and I assume that we still are.
U of M, y'all better catch up. Y'all embarrassing me now. Come on.
No, I'm just playing. But also what they helped us do, once we started the chapter, they're like, oh, there's a convention that happens every year. And I'm like, okay, we got to go because this is going to be our big networking opportunity. We can, maybe find some job opportunities as well. So we did a campaign and we pitched for funding to go. So the school gave us money to go. The Detroit chapter of NABJ gave us money to go. And it was maybe 4 or 5 of us that traveled to Philly for that convention that year. We was on a mega bus. We took them little, had to stop in Pittsburgh and then get on another bus and then go to Philly. Whoa. And we documented the whole thing. I don't know if that's online, but we documented the whole thing. Oh my gosh.
I'm going to find it after this.
On them little video cameras. And we're all on the bus okay, we made it here.
It was kind of like the Spike Lee movie, Get on the Bus or something like that.
And we were literally living that. It's so bizarre to talk about it right now because it was moving so fast, but we didn't have to pay for that trip at all.
Wow! And you interviewed the late great Stuart Scott too.
Yes.
Crazy.
Yes.
Because I'm nervous right now. I'm 39. I'm nervous interviewing you right now. So how did you? Goodness. No, seriously. How did you how were you able to stay composed during those interviews when you were sitting or standing across from these people?
I wanted to do it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like it's something about once you put your mind to something, and I knew what I was there for, and I don't like wasting people's time or money. So if somebody is like putting me in position to do something or be somewhere, and I said this is what I'm gonna do while I'm here, I'm gonna do it. So I'm like, oh, we got to do some interviews. These are who we want to interview. Let's just go talk. And I'm good to just go up to somebody and talk to them. So I'm literally like, hi, I'm Antonice.
Yeah, that's what's up.
I'm with the student chapter of ABJ.
With the smile, too.
Yeah, with the whole smile. I'm like, yes, hi, I'm Antonice, and I'm a student at Michigan State University. Yeah. And Jamel, she was hyped because she went to state, and she was a journalism kid too. So she met all of us, and she was like, oh my goodness, I'm so proud of you all, and you're here. And she was happy to kind of speak with us. So it was,
I could tell.
It was amazing. And yeah, it was a time. It's crazy. Oh my gosh.
So did you go to Georgetown like right after undergrad?
You pretty much. I literally graduated in May, and I was in DC by like July.
Yeah, wow. And your dad was like, "You sure you don't want to go to grad school at MSU?"
Man, he was like, you sure?" Yeah. In hindsight, I probably could have stayed at home for like a year and then saved up some money and then been on my way. But nah, I had to do it. I felt it, and I'm like, we'll figure it out. He was laughing at me. He was like, "You're living in this Hey Arnold house." I don't know if you remember Hey Arnold, and like how they had all them different people that had like that was when I first moved. I lived in this big house, and all of us had our own room, but it was a house. Yeah. We had a community kitchen, like 2 bathrooms. Like it was really bizarre. I was like, wow, okay.
So what were some of the differences, like living in Michigan, Ypsilanti versus like your first experience being in DC? Like what was the differences off rip that you noticed?
It was a whole lot of people, and like it was a lot more fast paced, of course. And it was so funny. When I moved there, people were like, "Where are you from?" Because I'm holding a door for somebody. Like they're not nice out there. Yeah. They are not nice. I held this door. She was like,
because it's more of a rat race out there. People trying to get to where they got to go.
They are moving. Yeah. And I get it because it's a fast-paced space. Things are happening in splits of seconds. I get it. But, how people were was definitely something that I noticed off jump. There was a different, like, professional presence, too. Like, living in D.C. was my first time really seeing, like, actually real Black excellence in front of me. I don't know if you're familiar, like PG County was, if it's not still, the most affluent county of African-American adults, actually.
Oh, yeah. So makes sense. Yeah.
I'm seeing Black people in mansions, like just, living I was a nanny for a Black family. Like they were taking care of paying my livelihood.
Wow.
And I love them. I'm actually still very, very close with them. Their kids are like in college and graduated now.
Wow.
But they're literally were my family in DC. But that was my exposure. Like, there's another level to this that I can literally get to. And it's not just on TV. Yeah. It's not just something.
It makes a difference when it's tangible, when you can see it and feel it. Yes. You know what I'm saying? Versus seeing it on TV.
And they're encouraging it. Like that family, one of them, the family I nannied for, he actually wrote one of my recommendation letters to Georgetown.
Wow.
Literally, I had worked for them for not even a year.
Wow.
So it's definitely all God. It's definitely like.
Oh, so wait, when you moved to DC, you okay. I thought you moved out there to go to college. You moved out there.
No, I moved because it was time to move.
It was time to go. Yeah.
And honestly, I would have ended up I was looking for jobs in New York, Atlanta, and DC.
Oh, got you.
Honestly, DC, I got an opportunity in DC first, and that's it was literally just because I got hired first there. And
wow.
I had my first like kind of PR internship role, and I was a nanny.
Wait. First PR internship role, was that with? Hold on, let me get
right.
This
Let's see.
U.S.
Nope.
Before. No, that wasn't. That was before. What was this one?
The first one was Becky's Fund. So
Becky's Fund. Okay, because the one I was gonna say was U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission.
That was right after, though. That was
right
literally
after?
right after.
Okay,
and that was when I was getting into Georgetown. So
right. So how was the internship? How did that go?
It was great. And I'm honestly a nonprofit girl at heart, literally. Like I love anything that gives back. And this particular nonprofit, they served women and families that have been navigating domestic violence. Oh, wow. So that was my first like intro into like storytelling, not from the journalist capacity. Like I'm helping frame these stories and the impact that this organization is having on these families and helping to raise money, obviously. Wow. And I remember seeing one of the mothers with her kids, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, like the work that I'm doing is for her. It's for all of them. And I was young still, like I was fresh, like I still didn't know everything I was doing, but I felt a purpose, and I loved it. And I mean, I wasn't even there that long because I got the job as CPSC.
Yeah.
But even navigating that also showed like nonprofits, like they really are, fighting for funding in the work that they do. And I know there's a whole bunch of them and not everybody does the right thing, but it was good to, like, I was close to the CEO, like where she's literally like moving and grooving. That doesn't always
happen, right?
Yeah, because it was actually a very small nonprofit. It was like 5 of us, and I was a part of that.
So you got a chance to learn a lot.
I learned a lot very quickly. Wow. So yeah, that was actually my first job in DC, was doing that, and then being the nanny, and I worked at a hookah bar. Yeah, I would wake up, go do my PR girl stuff, and then go pick up the kids from school, take them home, cook them food, and do whatever it needed to be. Then I would change clothes, and I would go to the hookah bar.
Golly. So at what point did you become the president of the National Black Public Relations Society? I think the DC chapter, right?
The DC chapter. So that happened. Sorry, I was fixing my necklace. I didn't realize it was, y'all didn't tell me I was looking crazy.
Man, listen, you fly. You make me look like I need to be a janitor somewhere. No offense to janitors. I love that profession. Now? Yeah, but okay. Yeah, you good. Yeah. But yeah, you all right. You good.
Okay. Yeah. So the Black Public Relations Society. So that, honestly, again, looking for my people in this space. I was familiar with PRSA. I did join PRSA as well, and I actually served on their board. I was one of their younger board members, actually, at the time. But I'm like, okay, where? So
you started as a board member, then you worked your way up to being the president, right?
Well, so these are 2 different orgs.
Wait, 2 different orgs. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, my bad. I didn't
No,
add
that's
all
okay.
that in
That's
there.
okay.
But the point of me saying that was like I was looking for like my folks with the PR, because they weren't there. They weren't at PRSA, which is a whole other conversation.
So PRSA is a Public Relations Society of America. I got you. Okay. So they're first, and then the National Black Public Relations Society.
Exactly.
I got you. Okay.
So I found out about them. I met who did I meet? I cannot remember her name right now, but I met a young lady that told me that this existed, and I'm like, okay. So I'm doing research online, and I find out that there is a DC chapter, but it was fairly active, actually. So I went to an event, and I, being me, I'm just like, hi, I'm Antonice. I just moved here. I think I want to get into PR, and this is still like either right before I got into Georgetown, because I actually took a year off before starting at Georgetown, but and I met, who was a dear person to my heart, bless his soul, Edgar Brookins. He served as the executive director of the chapter. And he literally came up to me like, you should be a part of this. Like, you should do this. And I'm like, I don't know how you feel like I should do this, but okay.
Wow.
And so I kept rolling. They actually ended up putting me over programs and events first. So I was on the board, and I just managed all the programs and events for the year. And then that president, Faye, she ended up like rolling off, and she was like, you should be president. I said, girl, what?
Wow.
What? And she was like, you love this. Like, you're engaged. Like, you seem to be like, ready for it. And maybe it was that I was
one of the youngest members at that time, right?
Yeah, I was maybe 22.
Good Lord,
20
golly.
Something.
This is crazy.
It's bizarre. But so yeah, I became chapter president. I want to say in 2013. No, 2013 or 2014. So yeah, I was like 23, 24. And big picture, I really wanted to re-establish the chapter because it had such a rich history in DC, actually. And I got to meet so many amazing, like, old school, like, throwback practitioners that just wanted to just pour into me. Like, I'm so grateful that I got to start my career in DC, actually, because the way that they like taught me and positioned me for other opportunities and just encouraged me. It was amazing. So I'm literally developing strategic plans for this organization. I'm like picking people like, okay, if I'm president, y'all got to let me pick who about to be on this team with me, because I got to trust that we're going to get the work done. God. And Edgar was like, all right, it's up to you, whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
But shout I'm like, but you got to stay.
Edgar Brookins.
Edgar Brookins, like, he's so dear to my heart. Him and Michael Dutton, they were like my key people. And I actually got to see Michael last year when I went to CBC in DC, and it was amazing. So yeah.
I think it's Ofield Duke's Excellence in Public Relations Awards event. You created that.
Yeah. So which is another thing, which I won't keep.
Ofield Dukes is a legend, man.
Legend. He's a legend here.
Listen, I want to see. He passed away in I think 2011 at the age of 79, right? But he started that organization. He was a
co-founder
in 1993.
Yes,
I believe. Yep. And then before, I think when he started his career in journalism, he did start his career in journalism, and then eventually he opened up his own business.
Yep, exactly.
And I think in 1969, his first client was Motown Records. Crazy, right?
History.
So this is history we talking about that you were a part of.
Yes, and it makes me, I cried that night actually, because it took so much to do that. And we had people flying in from everywhere because they loved and respected Ofield.
Man, Ofield was
his daughter
legend.
came.
Yeah. What?
I got to meet the beautiful Miss Roxy. She's amazing.
What?
Yes, her and her husband and her son.
At the awards event?
At the awards event.
Wow.
And it was, how do I put, learning the history and really I didn't learn about Ofield when I was in college. I didn't know.
So you didn't know about him until you joined that organization?
I didn't know until I was there. And that's that's the problem.
Yeah.
That's a huge reason. And I talk about this in a lot of things, like why I know I'm supposed to be doing this and why I'm a very big advocate on highlighting Black practitioners. Obviously all minority practitioners. But if I got to hear about Bernays one more time. And I don't get to learn about Ofield. I don't get to learn about Pat Tobin. I don't get to learn about Georgella Muirhead, the co-founder of the agency that I work at right now.
You better talk that talk, Antonice.
Why are we not knowing about this? So it's those were inspiring to me. I'm like, no, we have to celebrate him. And it was a lot. It was amazing. I met so many people.
I can't believe you created this. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, it was dope. I mean, and it wasn't just me. It was a whole team of us.
I mean, you had a whole team, but you were the president at the time.
Yeah, I did have to drive it. It was I was over here getting money from these other organizations.
Wow.
Talking to all the PR agencies because I'm like, how dare y'all don't want to support this? Yeah. I was in front of all them little white agencies.
Wow.
Hey, y'all.
I read this interview with Ofield Dukes, and they asked him, what advice would you have for young people looking to get into the world of PR? And he said, passion. You got to be passionate about it. And he said, you can't have a goal of being excellent once a week. You got to be excellent every single day. So I think sometimes as Black people, we might confine ourselves to that Blackness, to the Black community in the sense that they'll say, oh, well, Ofield Dukes was the best Black PR practitioner, whatever the case may be, right? But he wasn't just the best Black PR practitioner. He was one of the best people in the PR game, period. Right? Who just so happened
to be Hall of Famer.
Who just so happened to be Black. So I didn't like that because I'm like, man, he ain't just the best Black. He one of the best in the game. So sometimes we confine ourselves to that. So hey, it's all right to just say I'm the best or I'm one of the best rather than to confine it to just the race. Although I understand why people do that, but Ofield Dukes, I just wanted to mention that because he's a legend, and the fact that you kept that going, kept that event going where you got a chance to have some prominent people in the PR industry come together and celebrate each other and all of this type, man, that's dope, man.
Yeah, it was amazing. I feel honored that I was even able to do that because I wish I would have been able to actually meet him and be like, yeah, we're going to do this. But knowing that, we were able to kind of really treasure his legacy in that kind of way, it was life-changing for me. And and actually it led to my next job, which is crazy. But it shows the power of just connecting and community, actually. It was really, we were able to really cultivate a community of practitioners during my tenure as president. And I feel so blessed by that, literally. So.
So the power of networking.
Power of networking, yes. Collaboration and just and being open to it. We don't have to go against each other or try to just this is mine. No, we can do this together.
We can work together. Absolutely. So when did you decide to move back to Michigan? At what point? What led to that, I guess? Oh, shoot. Hold on.
Nah, I was ready to come home.
You were?
I was. And honestly, there was it was a lot of life things going on as well. But I love the work that I was doing. I'm like, I want to do this work at home. I was from, working at the nonprofit. I did side work for recording studios and some artists out there. And it was fun. And I'm like, I want to do this at home.
So you went out there, got all the tools you needed. networking, all of this stuff, and then you brought it back here.
Basically. And I literally say this to students. I go and speak to classes throughout the year and everything, and I encourage people to move away. Like, go, do what you got to do. Come back. But like, no, you got to go experience and learn some things. Like those were the best years that are why I'm the practitioner that I am right now, and why I feel confident moving in the spaces that I do. I do feel very fearless when I'm in any kind of room. Like, I know what I'm bringing into this room, into the table. And I know my story. I know what's going on. And that's the kind of like power you get by, I think, being exposed and experiencing other things. But it's not bad if you don't. But if you have the opportunity, just do it. Even if it's scary, do it scared. I was scared. I was living in the Hey Arnold house. What? I was scared. but you learn so much, and it definitely helped groom me to, the woman, the practitioner, the person that I am literally now.
So what was your experience like working at Truscott Rossman?
Yeah, right? So that's what brought me home.
You were a senior director there, right?
I was. So that was amazing. And funny story, back to NABJ, and I'm going to get to Truscott real quick.
Yeah.
NABJ comes back into my life again.
What?
So I actually came back to the NABJ convention, which was in Detroit in 2018. And at this point, I'm like, yes, I'm trying to move back, but only if it makes sense. I'm not going to leave my job and be like, I can't go backwards.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay. And I come back for the conference. I'm telling everybody, I'm like, hey, I'm back. I want to work here. I'm trying to move back home. Who knows what options there are. And my boy, Tyler, also a Spartan, Tyler, I remember telling him, and all these people, but he actually worked at Cranes at the time. And he was like, oh, well, my old boss, he was the publisher, or he was like a president at Cranes. And he was like, but now he's at a PR agency. Wow. Oh. I could send him your resume and maybe just see what's happening. I'm like, okay, look, send it everywhere. I don't care who you're sending it to. Like, let's just make it happen.
Send it, yeah.
Send it. So I sent to my resume. Apparently he sent it over to Ron Fournier, he's actually the current senior advisor now for Truscott, but at the time he was the president. And Ron calls me maybe like less than a week later. Like, hey, so you're trying to come back to Detroit? And I'm like, wow. Yes. And I go through the interview process. I fly in for an in-person interview and I meet with one of my other mentors, Sean Wilson. And it made sense. And I'm like, yeah, this is my opportunity to come back. And they literally were like, yeah, we want you. Like, this is what you'll kind of be working on. And I'm like, cool, let's do this.
Wow.
So I literally NABJ was maybe in August. I did my interviews in September and I moved here in October.
Wow. And that was your first job back?
Yeah.
What a first job to have.
It was crazy.
Yeah,
I got messages from my auntie like, oh, I saw you in the paper. Because they done sent out a whole notification back from DC. I said, whoa.
Oh, yeah.
What is this?
Oh, yeah. Because you a legend.
I know.
You see what you had did in DC?
No, but like, I'm still.
We happy to have you back. We were happy to have you back here.
I'm happy to be back. Best decision I've made literally outside of moving to DC was moving back to Detroit in the time that I did actually. And been here about 5 years now. And,
wow. So I'm going to ask you a question, right? I think it was back in 2007, JetBlue, they had a bunch of canceled flights, a bunch of flights set on the runway for hours. The president, the very next day, got in front of a camera and he took accountability. He apologized for it. I think on the second or third day, he had came up with a new set of program strategies and incentives to keep the customers from leaving JetBlue. Right. So he was on the TV.
Yep.
He was on the radios. He had full page ads in newspapers across the country. It was like a great example of someone who handled a crisis situation in a productive and healthy manner. So in your career, have you ever had to handle a crisis situation? Or like, because it could have been where you prevented it from becoming a crisis, or it's already at that point, and how do we put out the fire?
Yeah.
You don't have to say names or anything like that, but have you ever been in that position?
Absolutely. Kind of starting at CPSC, because it was always a crisis, because we're dealing with people's recalls, like people's laptops catching on fire and having to deal with lawyers and compliance and make sure the right message is out there and, that we're doing the right thing. But I would say to that kind of capacity, definitely. We had a client that kind of got wrapped into some other news, and it had nothing to do with them.
Yeah.
But it was also just because like people don't want to just do their research or make a phone call. So we had to go in, getting a phone call at like 11:30 at night, like, oh my gosh, this is happening. We're up writing a statement, getting things prepared, making sure that we have things that are going out like at the top of the morning before the 6:00 news. And this was also a situation where we're now dealing with national media that want to talk about this story. And what I feel we thrived in is, one, we had a crisis plan in place prior. So they already knew kind of like, this is the protocol. One, call us, but this is the protocol and we got you. Like, we're going to get this taken care of. And as long as we have the facts, we're good. And I always tell clients, like, you got to treat us like the lawyers. Like, you have to tell me everything because I'm your storyteller.
Everything.
Like, they illegal people because anything I put out, they still got to see it anyway.
Yeah.
But I have to know as much, if not more than what they know. Like, I need all the records, literally, so I can better position and also just tell the truth. Like, people think PR people are like
lying and stuff and making up stuff.
No, we really are coming with facts. Now, I can't speak for every practitioner, but that ain't my business. I can speak from what we do and what I do. But we were able to like go away from where the story was going, and we kind of dodged the bullet of having some negative national media come out. We just kind of got in front of it. So I'm literally phone calling MSNBC and CNN and like, yo, this ain't the story. They actually know what's going on at their facility, and we got the records, and we've already spoken to the health department and all the things. So I'm like, and this is their statement.
Yeah. It's important in this day and age to have good PR practitioners, especially in this social media age where people's past transgressions are getting brought up left and right. Right?
I thought about going through my old Twitter page one day, like, let me go see, but I'll just be posting quotes and stuff. I don't really do that on Twitter, but still.
How would you, listen, I'm about to put you on spot here. Jonathan Majors, his recent situation. How would you have advised him to handle that, like, as soon as it happened? What would you have advised him to do? Because, or do you think there were any PR mistakes, after that? Like, I don't know if you know much about it, but it's the most topical thing I could think of. So
I think I know a good amount about it, but it's tough. I mean, I feel like with those situations, again, I don't know how much information he provided to his PR person prior to what's going on. Like, we advise our clients, anytime anything happens, let us know immediately.
Everything. Yeah, immediately
and everything.
Yeah.
So again, it kind of, and then when you have clients that just want to do their own thing and they don't want to be advised, that's the worst. That happened before with a client before, and it was a whole racial thing, and they done lost all money. It was just crazy.
Wow.
But Jonathan Majors, that's tough. I don't know. I feel like,
take your time, because it's a hard one.
Yeah.
I don't know what,
because there were so many things with that, and I feel like I part of me feels like he wasn't transparent up front with his team on what went on. Not saying that what went on, what did or didn't, because that's not where I don't have any say on that. But just to make sure that certain things are proactively like nipped in the bud. I feel like they could have come out a little more like, this is what actually happened. Not like, because it was like they were holding things in.
They were holding things back. And the longer they took, the more time it gave people to form their own conclusions, right?
Exactly. Wow. The sooner you can come with the facts, this is whether it's good or bad. And that's the thing too. Not everybody wants to own up if it is bad. Like, just own it. Because now we can kind of get past it. Now, if we're trying to go backwards and you done lied and said this, and now we got to...
See, I don't know much about the legality of it, but in my mind, I'm thinking like, why did he go to court? Why didn't he just like figure out a way to settle? But he couldn't, I guess, right? Because it was a assault charge and stuff. So
and that's the other thing, and that's. I'm glad I don't deal with in the celebrity world like that.
Yeah, the entertainment stuff, right?
I'm good. Like if it's like, I've dabbled in it, and I mean it's fun, but it's a lot of ego. I mean, it's egos in this industry. When you're dealing with a CEO, it's a whole different ballgame.
That's true too.
But when you're dealing with someone that's just loved by everyone, and that's just their whole everything,
Good point.
You got to tell them like, chill, like, no, we don't care about that. Like, I need to know, like,
put your ego to the side for a minute.
Put your ego over here, and let's like really figure this out. And
wow,
it's interesting.
So you do a lot of community work, a lot of work in the community. Upward Bound program. You said that this program is pretty much something that helped to save your life, and you attribute a lot of your success today to that program. You
Absolutely.
were a mentor and a tutor, right?
Yeah, I was an Upward Bound kid, actually.
What?
Yeah, no, I was a child of Upward Bound. Wow. So I literally got into that program, and my brother is too. And that was one of those blessings that keep giving back, because my mom wanted us to be in that program, literally. So me and my brother are like our first group of like actually graduating from college. And this program is for, youth that either are first generation, low income, certain socioeconomic and demographic backgrounds and such. So this program was the first thing that showed me college campuses or took us on certain trips places. They paid us for our grades. You know how you hear the stories of like, your grandma giving you something, or your auntie giving you some money for some grades. Like there's kids that don't get that. Like, and having someone and a mentor, like it's so crazy. One of my mentors is actually my financial advisor now. Like it's so crazy how impactful that program is. Like, and I'm still connected with a lot of who my mentors were. I was a part of the Upward Bound at Eastern Michigan University. Wow. So, yeah, that was, the space. I got my college applications. I didn't have to pay for those. And really another community. Like it was literally an opportunity for me to like grow and bond and kind of learn about myself too. But for me, I was already ready to go. I was like, okay, I know I got to finish this high school stuff so I can get to the next place. Yeah. But Upward Bound exposed me to what I could do and be. And not that I didn't think I could, but it just made it more like real for you, literally.
Man, so okay, then you were
and then I did become a mentor and everything like that.
You did,
yes,
right?
Yes, because I was like, I gotta give back to this. So
because it gave so much to you.
It gave so much to me. I still am connected to some of the kids that I mentor too. They're amazing, both at Michigan State, American University in DC, and at Howard University too. So
Wow. Okay, shout out to Howard. Okay, so let me see. 4th and 5th grade girls basketball coach.
Oh gosh, where are you finding this stuff?
Montgomery County Public Schools. Don't let me find out you know how to play basketball too.
Oh.
So you ain't tell me that about your growing up phase in Ypsilanti. You played basketball too?
I did. I was a hooper
for
sure. I played varsity actually all 4 years.
This is crazy.
Yeah, I was all right. My dad finally let it go that I didn't go and play in college.
Yeah.
My brother and my cousins did, so they were good. They were like, you can go to their games. But I did still end up working for the basketball program though. And I still had the thought like, okay, maybe I'll just walk on. And because at the time, if I wasn't getting paid to play basketball, I was like, I'm just going to go to school at this point. If I'm going to have to pay for it regardless, I can always play ball if I want to. And I started working for the program, the Michigan State women's basketball program. And I was like on their scout team. And I still was thinking like, okay, well, maybe I'll just try out next year. This would be cool. But that's a different type of lifestyle. And it's not for the faint at heart, like at all. Being a student athlete, especially at that level, it comes with a lot. And I give kudos to all of them women that were on the team and just navigating that. But me, I'm like, I just got up out the house of a curfew. Coach Merchant ain't about to tell me when I gotta be home. I'm sorry. No. So I stayed with the program, and I served as like an office assistant, and I did their summer programs, summer camps and stuff like that. So, and my claim to fame is, my name is actually on the Big Ten trophy because I was a part of the program. So I can't wait to have some kids and take them up there. Like, look
at my name right there. Look at you. Exactly. Yes. Yeah.
But no, I love basketball. I get to say I'm a rec league legend or whatever. My brother always laughs at me. He's like, yeah, I got to get out while I was already up. So nobody can be like, dang, she was good in high school, but I don't know what happened in college.
Exactly.
No,
because people didn't see the fall. Because there's always the decline.
I was already up. I was already up and I got out.
So people get to wonder like, what could have happened?
What could have been?
Right.
I don't know.
So vice president with the Determined Exceptional Fearless Youth Program.
Yes, DeFi. So that's a nonprofit that was started by my brothers and my god brother. I'm one of the co-founders as well, but they do a lot of the legwork. And that big picture was really just a culmination of things that we've talked about forever. Like me and my brother have always been ones that always wanted to go back. And my brother's like super in the community. He still goes back to Ypsi way more often than I do, actually. But it was really like an idea of, providing, resources, access, and things to youth that don't really get exposure to these kind of things. So kind of similar to an Upward Bound, but, we weren't like federally funded and we couldn't really have too many kids, but, whatever impact that we could provide. So we would do like food gift bags. We actually worked with my childhood church to do like turkey giveaways and, food distribution and everything. And we actually had a building out there as well. And we go back every summer. My brother does like a basketball academy every year. I go back and teach yoga every summer in the Green. I don't know how familiar you are with the Willow Run part of Ypsilanti, but there's an apartment complex called Sagamore Meadows, and we call it the Green. And we teach yoga there, and it's beautiful. We journal. They all get like, free yoga mats, and then we drink tea afterwards. It's beautiful.
Man, wow.
Yeah, but I love it.
Well,
I love it.
Nieces Tea House.
Nieces Tea
House. I'm so sorry.
No, you good. Everyone says Nieces, and I'm like, it's not Nieces, but it's cool.
But it's the tea connoisseur, right? So you actually researched all of this stuff yourself. Was it? It was during COVID, I believe, or something like that.
It was. Yeah. I mean, I've always been an avid tea drinker. That was something I used to do with my mom, and we all was trapped in the house. I'm like, okay, what we about to do? And I just was getting bored. I'm like, what is this? And I'm like opening tea bags, like trying to see what was in there.
And buying different tea bags from different places, mixing and matching and all that stuff. I was
literally like, I would go and get different stuff. I actually was growing ginger in my apartment. It was crazy.
Yeah. Wow.
I was. And I'm like, well, I love this. And this could be another pastime, and I want to share this. I'm very intentional.
I can only imagine how stressful your job can be at times, right? Not to say you don't love it,
right?
But you're doing some big things, so you need to have ways to decompress. Definitely. And to relieve some of that stress. And you do it through drinking tea. You do it through meditation and yoga.
Yeah, literally.
So that has helped you a lot, I'm sure. You need to have that balance. That's why she can be on camera smiling and everything is fine, because the job she does, the degree of difficulty is, like I said, it's crazy. So, and you manage that really well.
Thank you. I appreciate that, because it'd be some struggles.
I know.
But,
I know.
I enjoy it.
How did you feel when you were mentioned as... let me see, one of the top 25 African American, PR millennials to watch by HuffPost.
That was dope. Honestly, it started as a campaign with another, I'm trying to remember. So I used to freelance write. Remember, I was a journalist at a time.
Oh, yeah.
And it was a campaign idea that Gwendolyn Quinn, yes, amazing. Another mentor.
You wrote for allhiphop.com too.
I wrote for allhiphop.com. Keep going. I'm cool with Diggable Planets and stuff.
Come on, man.
They
Come
my
on.
friends. No, but I used to freelance write for them too. But this was an idea when I was a part of Beepers, the Black Public Relations Society, and I did this whole event with a lot of women in music and entertainment. And Gwendolyn she was one of my panelists, and she was like, I'm just so inspired by all of you, and like, you're just amazing, and da-da-da. I want to write about all of these young people in PR and stuff. So she just was like, well, you gonna help me with this.
Wow.
So really just kind of did the research and found a ton of amazing practitioners, all millennials. And I was like, okay, I'm just helping with it. She was like, no, you're in it too. What are you talking about? I'm like, oh, wow. Okay. Wow. Well, there we go.
Yeah.
But I was honored. Like, that's literally, I don't know. It was crazy. That was kind of the first time also me slowly kind of starting to talk about who I was a little bit. So, which is still kind of weird, but yeah. Yeah,
because you're okay with just doing the work or being behind the scenes, right?
Yeah, I love doing the work.
But then you were selected as one of the 6 women, one of the 6 women selected for the 2017 WWPR Emerging Leaders Awards. I think WWPR stands for Washington Women in Public Relations, right?
Yes.
So all these awards, it's crazy. So tell me what the feeling was when you found out you was one of them 6.
Oh, no, that was an emotional one because it wasn't. None of this stuff is expected to me at all. I don't do this for.
Because you just put your head down, you doing the work.
I'm just going. I'm moving, literally, and it was wild. And actually, I didn't know. I knew that I was one of the awardees, but I didn't know that I was like the actual winner until that night. And it was a lot. Because I know I worked really hard. And I know I still had a lot to go. Like, I was like, 26? What year? You said 2017. I was 27.
Oh, she about to tell her age, y'all. Come on, fellas. Listen up, fellas.
Don't do that. Yeah, apparently my age is ambiguous. I'm still out here. I don't know. They don't know how old I am. So, But, so, I knew I still had so much to do. But I felt very, humbled. honored. My other best friend, Kyra, who actually is still in DC, she's a medical student there. She actually was there with me. And just hearing, the stories and how people felt and thought of me. Yeah, it was wild.
Crazy.
It's like, oh my gosh.
So man, that's so
This is a lot. This is crazy to think about, actually.
No, well, and then I wanted to ask you too, because your brother, right?
Yes.
How many years younger is he than you again?
Like a year grade wise, but it's kind of like 2 years. But
so you guys have always been pretty close.
That's my dog for sure. Yes.
So can you describe just the relationship that you guys have?
I mean, yeah, that's my best friend. We've been rocking since 19, whenever he came out the womb.
Yeah.
And we've been very close. Like that's.
Are you critical of the people that he dates, and he's critical of the people that you? Is he like kind of a brother / dad when it comes to that?
He's just straight up brother. Like he'd be like, who was this? And also, but he's chill. Like he's really just he watches. He's more of just like, let me just see.
Wow.
Let me just kind of see what's going on.
So he ain't grilling people like that in the beginning.
Not like that. Because I've learned to practice discernment too. So honestly, they're not really around a lot. Like until I'm like to a
place, I ain't bringing you around until I know. And then they trust your judgment. So
yeah. But I do rely on them more. The older I get, the more I'm like, all right, Dad, all right, Aunt, like, look,
I need your opinion.
Let me know.
Come on,
what you
let's
thinking.
huddle together. Let's figure
huddle.
this out.
Because they laugh at me because dating is interesting. So but he's definitely like the protector. Both of them are. So I'm the girl. So
this next question: what are the challenges of having such a demanding career and dating? Like, how do you? Yeah, I'm gonna just let you go with that. Yeah.
I mean, it's the balance.
It's the balance.
Like, I am busy and I run around a lot, and I do love what it is that I do, and I have to be in certain spaces and all of that. I think I don't really foresee it fully having a major impact on it, because I'm gonna make time for the person that I want to be with and be around. I understand I understand you got to balance. Like, there may be days where I am going 80,000 miles an hour, and maybe you are too. But I think it's important to find someone that can also understand that there's a balance. There has to be a balance there too. I never want to be in a situation where it's only work. We can talk about work, and I would love for that to be, in that space too. But I don't think it should affect my dating. I think because I know I'm going to make time, and I'm going to communicate. Like, if it's something going on, or I'm bringing you with me, you want to go? Like, what's going on?
Come on, right.
I'm good. I'm good for bringing, like, Mickey will come to me to everything. I'm like, hey, girl, you want to go?
It's good to have a job like that, though. Yeah.
It's some cool perks.
Because you be on the road a lot,
Like, if I'm traveling somewhere, it's like, it would be cool to be like, oh, I'm going to be, in New York.
I used to do that. I used to do that with Bridget too sometimes.
See?
So because it's nostalgia.
That's beautiful to me. And I'm such a hopeless romantic anyway. Like, I'm still like trying to believe in the love, but
you still trying to believe. What you mean? You ain't lost hope yet, have you?
I haven't lost hope, but
it's just tough.
It gets interesting, and it's I don't even know how to explain it. It's interesting. It's nothing bad on people, because I know it's on both sides. I know guys have issues with like, why are women all like this? And women, we feel like, oh, there's not enough good men. They're there. They're out there on both sides. And I think we just have to be a little more like intentional and even open to things. My cousin told me one thing. She was like, sometimes it may not fully be in the package that you thought it was going to be in, but it's everything that you need. And that God is actually putting in place for you. You got to be aware of it. You
said in the package. How hard is it if you have certain standards and maybe you've earned the right to have those standards because you've worked really hard.
Yes.
But then somebody telling you that it might come in a different package, so you may have to make those compromises. Is that a hard thing to do?
Now, that comes with a level of discernment. Like, it's not telling you to go get with some, like, if it's not your calling to be with someone, no shade to the people that maybe work at McDonald's, but if that's not your calling to be with someone that works there, that's fine. That's not what I'm saying that it's going to be in that package. It's more of like, maybe they don't live here. Maybe
I see what you're saying. Maybe it's a long distance situation.
Yeah, maybe there's a long distance situation. Maybe there are career differences, and you're gonna have to navigate something. But they're also on the same page, and you both can navigate that together. And that is something I see a lot of. Is I don't know if people don't see themselves as like they feel like they have to be at a certain level already. And like, you're going to have ups and downs all the time. And, but I feel like it's more fulfilling with who you have with you on that journey of those ups and downs. You don't have to do it by yourself. And I think a lot of people don't think, maybe sometimes don't know if they're ready yet. And that's fair. But, you know, I don't know. I think I wish more people would just be open to like what the growth and the journey would look like. You don't have to have it all together. I don't have it all together, literally. Like I be in shambles. I just went and got my hair done today. So like, yes, I be in shambles. This was for y'all. This was for TinBridge. But I'm just saying. So but you
building the plane while flying it pretty much.
It's just a navigation. I have nights where it's tough, it's hard, it's everything, and like, but. That's not gonna stop.
My one friend, it's hard for her because she's in her mid 30s, but she just don't like to go out. But you can't meet nobody unless you go out. So like,
or you can get on one of them apps. That's what people be doing.
That's true too.
I'm not a fan of the apps. My friends made me get on it for like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But it works for people.
It works for people, right?
A lot of people too, actually. So,
absolutely. Yeah. So that's for the antisocial people who don't want to go to the bars or the lounges or whatever the case may be.
If you just want to be on there and just do the thing, that's for you. Yeah.
Are you the go-to? Because look, being a PR practitioner, it's about thinking before you respond, not letting your emotions get in the way of your thoughts or your emotions get in the way of your words, right? Yeah. So are you the go-to friend when your friends are just going through it? They like, all right, I know she gonna give me the right advice. You know what I'm saying? Before I basically jump off the ledge.
Oh no, am I? No, just
Mickey, is she?
I would say I help. Oh, she gave a thumbs up.
She gave a thumbs up. Cool.
I would say I do feel like I'm helpful now. If I always be like, I don't know. You know, if I don't know, I don't know.
Exactly.
But I'm always listen.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna always at least be like a sounding board, and we can figure it out together or come up with it.
Because you don't take agency away from them. It's like you got to make your own decisions. I'm here to help give you perspective, guide you along the right path for yourself.
And sometimes people just want to be heard. Sometimes people just want to release it. Like I'll literally get a call like, you got some time to just talk? Like, yeah.
Wow.
That's I literally love my friend group. Like we're all we are all very much, there for each other in a way that it's beautiful. Like I'm so blessed for not just my family, but the friend family,
the community. What's the core? What's the number of like your core friend group? You would say
for me, it's 200. Please, look, you have more information than I right now just on this. It's definitely like a solid like 8 of us, and that's like my crew here, and then my girls that aren't living in the state of Michigan, like Kyra and Elena, like they live in other places, and those are my oldest road dogs, like from 8-9 years old, literally, and they just they live in other states. And then I have my amazing core here, and then throw my brother in there, so there's that, but that's kind of my core group here. And I have like my cousins that are pretty much like siblings too, and I guess it's 10 people.
I mean, listen, you mentioned having that community is important, right? Because they sort of influence how you think, they influence the decision making, they influence your self-esteem. It's all of that. Sure. They inform all of that. And so it's really important. You mentioned Michael Dutton and I think Edgar Brooks. These people are very instrumental in helping you to become the person that you are today. And your favorite quote. I won't even say quote, but Bible scripture. It's in 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 33. Don't be fooled by those who say such things, for bad company corrupts good character. Mm-hmm. So it does. So expound on that a little bit.
Wow.
Well, that's why it's so
one. Wow. Okay. Thank you.
I got to know your favorite scripture. Come on.
Oh, but it's so true.
Yeah.
And like, because of the work I do have to know a lot of people. I got to be outside. I got to deal with all that. But I'm very particular about the people that are that close to me, that really have like a connection, that can call me at any time, that know truly who Antonice is, and I value that. I value that core tremendously. And I trust that they're not going to steer me down some random road of negativity. And that's real. And I think, that's probably it's a gift. It's a blessing to have that, but it can corrupt you if you have the wrong people in your core. it's hard to discern when when they're that close to you. You start to feel like, oh, this is what I'm supposed to be doing, or they're doing it. This is my close person, and not really understanding and thinking like, no, this is what do I need to be doing? What's in my heart? What are my ethical standards and my moral compass and everything? And making sure that people have that similar thing around you is critical to, like, I'm successful because of the people that I have around and in my life and that I allow in my space. And that I even think that takes time to get to really like understand and discern who should be in your space.
Absolutely. Yeah, the late great Jim Rohn, I think that's his name. He was a author, he was a motivational speaker, an entrepreneur. He said that we are the average of the 5 people we spend the most time with. And that's like really important.
It is. Wow. I don't think I've heard that, but I can agree with that. I think so. And honestly, it's so funny. Like, I've actually merged my friend groups, and it merged well because I would say it merged pretty well. Yeah. But it's because they all have a similar like moral code. They all have a similar
morals
mindset.
And principles are important, right? Yeah.
And just even how they love and be a friend.
Yeah. Because I had to cut, sometimes you got to deprioritize friends. You got to reshuffle stuff. Because once I got married, some of my other friends were still on this single stuff. And I'm like, man, I can't.
And that's another ballgame.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and if you want to be like a successful entrepreneur, it's good to have somebody like that in the circle. If you want to be a successful husband or a wife, you got to have people like that in a circle, right?
You have to, literally. Yeah.
That's what's up. What advice would you give to somebody like looking to pursue a career in PR? Just some 17-year-old kid out there, right? They're interested in it. They don't know whether or not they want to get into it. And here's the thing. I'm going to mention this because when y'all interviewed Touré, no, because I like Touré, but I didn't like his response, man, because he basically said that, no, when y'all asked the question like, hey, what advice would you have for a young person getting into PR? And he said, think of another job to do because it ain't enough spaces, right? And this is hard. And don't get me wrong, that's real advice. So I'm trying to figure out what your advice is going to be juxtaposed to that. Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't tell them to think of something else. I genuinely love what it is that I do, but I would tell them to, do some research and really get an understanding of what it is that this career path entails. I would, find a mentor. Well, 17, you can find a mentor at 17. I didn't know much about mentorship at 17, but if you're that hip and you like, oh, I need to find someone to look up to do this, I would definitely do that. And I would also write. Like PR, I feel like we are the storytellers. My journalist friends, they are storytellers as well. But as a PR person, like, you're the first line of telling this story so that the media person picks it up and tells it to the masses. And I think if you are a strong writer, or at least creative, and can tell these stories. So like, I'm a journal kid. I've been journaling in a journal since I was like 7. So I've been writing and doing my own stories, telling to myself, if that makes sense. But I think having that level of creativity, or just finding your own creativity in that will help you kind of navigate and be really good at helping tell other people's stories. I think that would be, and then I guess go to school for it. Like, don't just pop out and be like, yeah, I'm a PR person. Like, okay, but like, really understand it, because there's some ethical things that go into all of our careers, and like, I think understanding that and knowing why you're doing this job will be important to their success. So yeah.
So what are some things that you had, or that you can tell us as far as the future? Because right now you are the vice president of public relations and business development at 98.4. We talked about that in the intro. So like, what's the plan? Because that's a big position. And then I looked on the website. You one of the youngest people, like, and in that position, this like, she ain't gonna brag on herself because she's humble, but I'm gonna brag for her. That's crazy. Like, what plans do you have over the next couple of years? What are you going to do to shake? Like, what are your plans? What are your goals? What are your aspirations?
Like right now, honestly, I just want to make 98 Forward the biggest, best agency, not just Black agency. Like, we have a great team, and I think as we, like, the next few years, we're going to continue to grow. And I just really want to be a part of that. I don't know if you caught the trend. I like coming in and like shaking it up, and we got to make some stuff happen. And that's on brand for me. And I'm really looking forward, and I feel empowered. Marilyn and Georgella really believe in me with that I see where we can be. And I'm excited to kind of help us push forward and get to that, and just do some amazing work, work with some amazing people, and just continue to amplify the stories that need to be told. So, man,
I want to thank your dad. I want to thank your brother. I want to thank your mom, rest in peace, because they created, like, wow, I'm just amazed by everything that you've done in such a short amount of time. So shout out to your family, shout out to your core group of friends, because look at you. Look at this person, y'all. So
oh goodness.
Any last words before we close out? Where can we find you on social media? Actually look into this camera and say, where can we find
which camera? Wait, it's my okay. Sorry, I'm told y'all I'm not used to being the person on the camera for real. I'm like, let me fix myself. Okay, where can
they find you on social media? Yeah.
So I can be found on all of my platforms as Antonice J. So Antonice, my first name, and the letter J. And then you don't gotta find me on Facebook. I'm not on there, but it's Antonice there too. Antonice J. Lee there. And or you can visit our website at 98forward.com if you're looking for services. And
yeah, that's what's up.
But I'm you can find me. I'm around.
Y'all, we got Antonice Strickland, a.k.a. Olivia Pope. Minus sleeping with the president.
I was just about to say, I need another person for people to like connect me to, because I love the first season.
The first season,
was the best season.
Then it kind of got crazy, right?
But then I'm like, why did she have to do all of that? Why couldn't she just have been great and just navigated and held?
I don't know if it's a bad, because the show did that, but is it the fact that us as a audience, we like that type of messy stuff too? You know what I'm saying? And
I get it. It was just me and my like black women power.
I know.
Stuff. And I was just
why y'all had to do that?
I was like, she didn't even have to do all that. She's an amazing practitioner. Why couldn't it could have had a different storyline? I don't know. And he was married too. Like it wasn't just that he was. It was just too much. But I hope there could be another like person that can say that
exactly.
I'm like, but it's cool. I appreciate
just it. Antonice Strickland, y'all.
Yeah, just exactly. There we go.
Thank y'all.
Just Antonice.
Thank you so much for coming out.
Thank
you, Mickey.
Thank you.
And this Conversations with TinBridge. Peace.